here from Arcane and Stellar. Welcome to the channel. I'm so glad that you're here today, and I really hope that this reading finds you blessed and happy, and I hope it provides you with some insight. So in this reading, we are going to be looking at the appearance of your future spouse, or maybe long-term partner. And honestly, you could even try to, if you're using your intuition and tuning in and feeling drawn to a certain pile, you could use this for like an ex-boyfriend or girlfriend or an ex-partner. It doesn't really matter. Honestly, you could use this any way. We're just going to be looking at appearance strictly. So I'm not going to try to deviate off of that. And we're going to be using the astrology cards and some tarot. So we have groups 1, 2, 3, and 4. And yeah, so I'm going to be using like really strong astrology meanings here in this reading. I'm going to focus more on that. Astrology is a great way to know how someone's going to look. Rising sign can have something to do with it, right? As many of you know, we appear as a rising sign, also our midheaven, and also our planets. Okay, so there are a lot of factors that go into how somebody looks, and obviously different planets describe different things, and different signs describe different things as well. So it's quite a complicated thing. Not all signs just look alike. There's different factors, you know what I mean? So yeah, and you can even tell your future spouse's appearance by looking at your 7th house cusp and looking for that ruler and seeing what aspects it has. As an example, I was taking a class recently on this, and I did learn some really cool new information in that class. And Julia Roberts, as an example, has a Capricorn descendant. So the ruler of Capricorn is Saturn, right? And Saturn is in Aries in her chart. And actually her first husband had, what would Saturn and Aries? Well, Saturn rules the bones, Aries rules the face. So a bony face. Or a broken face, often that can mean a broken nose as an example. And Capricorn can give an older spouse, or somebody that's like kind of like a leader already, or has like a strong drive for work. Capricorn type of energy, right? And guess who her first husband was? Lyle Lovett, who had the exact face you would imagine with Saturn and Aries, and he was older than her by 10 years. So, you know what I mean? Our charts can really tell us a lot about even our future spouse's appearance as well. So just go look at your 7th house and then look for that ruler. And yeah, for real. And if you have planets, of course, in the 7th house already, that could also tell you some things as well. Anything that's closest to the angle is going to be more prominent though. Like as an example, I have like an Aquarius descendant, which is Uranus or Saturn ruled, depending. I use both rulers. I often will rely more on the traditional rulers, but that's just me. I'll still look at the modern rulers, but the modern rulers move so slowly in transit that I usually look at the inner, like the traditional rulers that are generally inner planets. So that's just how I use my astrology, but that's in transit. In the natal chart, I'll look at both, for sure. But yeah, so I have, Uranus in the 5th, right? So the ruler. And then I have Saturn in the 4th. And my partner is an Aquarius, by the way. So he matches, his sun sign matches and falls into my 7th house. But also, he has a larger forehead, like a typical air sign. He has broad shoulders, like a typical Aquarius, okay? Also, we play a lot of video games together, and there's that Uranus in the 5th house, video game hobbies, technology hobbies, and stuff like that. So there we go, you know what I mean? And then we have Jupiter there, and Jupiter, he's a foreigner, and we travel a lot together around the world. We come from different countries, and you know what I mean? Like, so you can see a lot in your natal chart just to see your future spouse. So definitely encourage you guys to check out your own chart. Maybe at one point I'll offer these readings for people. I just don't have a lot of time to do astrology. I know a lot of you will ask me for astrology readings, and I want to give them. I'm just not in the place yet until I move out and kind of get a better kind of like, I don't know, more organized life for myself, because ever since COVID happened, I've kind of been stuck at my mom's house. So it hasn't really been good for me for kind of expanding myself and doing more of that. I have done some astrology readings for people, but it's kind of been under the table type of stuff, and I just don't have the time to offer it as like a service right now. But I'm hoping that this reading will bring some insight. And if you're still listening to this, wow, I can't believe you're still here. I imagine like the majority of you left. If you are, if you're still listening, comment down below and say I'm still listening. And then I'm just gonna give you a lot of love, and I'll send you some Reiki. Okay, so yes, we have the 4 groups here. Choose your pile, and I will see you in your reading. So group number 1, let's find out the appearance of your future spouse. As I said in the long-ass intro, I will be looking at astrology cards for the most part to really get this person's looks and appearance. So like I said, hopefully you go back to the intro and understand what I'm talking about. So we have 9th house, Mars, the Chariot, and the King of Wands. Strong fire energy here, guys, for your person. So your person's going to favor fire signs, particularly because we have the King of Wands, the 9th house, which is a Sagittarius house, and Mars. So strong fire. Now, let's see. The 9th house in the Chariot does make me feel like this person could be from a different location than you, okay? 9th house could rule a foreign person, so they might have a foreign appearance, in fact, okay, for some of you. Now, I'm going to read this. 9th house is more dealing with Sagittarius and Jupiter, so I will be talking more in terms of that, rather, okay? So, because that's how I would read it in a chart. So, let's get started here. Mars, well, Mars is the ruler of Scorpio and Aries. Okay, so we have that energy. Mars can bring in, well, red hair. Sometimes there can be a reddish tint to fire signs. Even if it's not full out red hair, they can have like just a bit of a reddish tint to it. Like if you get in the sunlight, it glistens a certain way and there's a reddish tint. Okay, so with so much fire energy, there's a good chance that this person's going to have that reddish tint to their hair. The other thing I'm getting is that this person probably is quite the mover. They walk a certain way. They walk a specific way because the Chariot represents movement, as an example. So generally Aries, as an example, they will walk with their head tilted forward, okay? They kind of, like strong Aries people will walk like they have somewhere to go, like they're on a mission. So their head will kind of bend slightly forward, because it's like they want to see things first. Fire signs can also, sometimes there can be like a more sunburny appearance. So it could be that your person sunburns easily, or maybe they tan easily, depending on their coloring, their natural coloring as well. But yeah, usually there's a fast movement to this person. So your future spouse's appearance, well, they're a fast mover. They walk quickly and they're always on a mission. They're going to definitely be always kind of trying to go to something, get something done. Also, Mars energy tends to flush very easily, okay? So probably when they are upset or excited or sad or angry, any kind of feeling, like strong feelings happening, they're going to start to show it in their face. So when they cry, they'll probably get red and splotchy. When they are happy, they'll get red. When they're shy, they'll get red. Usually it gives someone a very blushy, flushy type of appearance, okay? Let's see. Yeah, they might like to go out in the sun and tan. So some of you, like I said, it depends on, like, obviously on the person. Like, I don't sunburn ever. Like, I never, even in the, I've only sunburned once in my life, and I was in the Middle East, and it was super hot outside. I'm strong Aries, that's why I say that. Generally, you know what I mean? So obviously, with me having like 4 inner planets in Aries, obviously, I'm a strong Aries look. But what I mean by that is that, like, it's obviously, it's going to depend, of course, on the person's sun, I mean, on their ethnicity a little bit too, on whether they'll burn or not. But yeah, so Mars also can say that this person will have kind of a reckless appearance in some way. Like, they'll have scars somewhere to be seen. So now Aries people do tend to have a very, Aries rules the face, so, and the head, right? The whole head. And so you can find somebody who has scars or markings on their head. Things that are significant, moles as an example, could be something, like having a lot of, like a specific mole or a scattering of moles or freckles, facial markings essentially. And also, thick eyebrows is another thing. Aries generally have thicker eyebrows. Obviously, people pluck their eyebrows nowadays, especially like certain, people will do that. But their natural eyebrows are probably going to be fairly strong and thick, okay? And also, Aries people generally have a strong arch in their eyebrow, or a really like nice size arch that's not like straight across eyebrows, okay? So, yes. like I said, the nose tends to be really prominent on a Mars person. So this could result in somebody just having a very distinctive nose. Some people will say it makes a broken looking nose. I don't have one of those myself, but I do have a fat nose, and it is different than everyone else's. So yeah, usually there's just like a different kind of nose. Think of Sarah Michelle Gellar as an example from Buffy. Like the girl who played Buffy the Vampire Slayer. She has an Aries sun and Venus, and she has kind of that very unique nose as an example. So it's just like an example of like how the noses can be uniquely different, because the nose is one of our focal points when you look at the face and the head, right, when you first see someone. So that's why Aries kind of it can have that appearance, because it tends to stick out. Usually the height is average, but with the ninth house here in Sagittarius and Jupiter energy, this person is going to be average or above average. Actually, okay, so we're getting someone average or above average, so not a short person. And in relation to you, they're either going to be probably a little bit taller than you or way more taller than you. Okay. Also, Aries can be one who has curlier hair or wavier hair as well. So you might find that this person has those kind of type of hair. Usually the body's quite also strong. Okay. Sagittarius and Jupiter, that's the ruler of like the hips as an example, and legs. Usually they're nice legs, strong legs. Okay, this person might have been, maybe they ride a bike or they do things with their legs, like running or exercising them as well, or walk a lot, and it kind of gives them really strong legs. Let's see. Usually the Aries could have a bit of a youthful kind of look around her face as well. And let's see, what else could I say here? Yeah, that's essentially what I get from like that kind of Mars energy. So the Chariot's quite interesting. Like I said, I feel like this person is going to be a quick walker. They're gonna kind of always be on the move, on the go. You know what I mean? Like they'll just always seem to be on a mission. Again, with that Mars, they could hold their head or tip their head forward, kind of always be looking forward, so their neck kind of is bent forward, essentially. Although usually Sagittarius does the opposite. They kind of tilt it up high and backwards as well. So they might deviate between both of these kinds of looks. Okay. Now, like I said, Sagittarius tends to increase size as an example. So like it makes things like longer or bigger. It depends. Like sometimes it elongates and sometimes it expands, right? Because Jupiter is that kind of energy. So sometimes, like as an example, maybe if someone had if I was talking about like maybe Sagittarius and Taurus, like Venus in Sagittarius, or yeah, something like that, maybe I would say maybe that person has like a longer neck or a shorter neck, maybe a wider. Like there's something about the neck, because obviously Taurus rules the neck. But yeah. So yeah, they might favor. This definitely person does hold themselves kind of regally too with the King of Wands. Very confident vibe to this person. They don't cower, and they don't kind of, they don't really, they're pretty confident in the way that they hold themselves. They kind of feel forceful when they are around. And, oh, thick hair is really common with fire signs in general. So very thick hair. Probably this person will have a nice, thick hair. So now I've heard with Aries, by the way, that it can give either lighter or darker hair on the extremity. I haven't noticed that to be true myself though, but I've read that before. Actually, I learned it in one of my classes, but I haven't noticed that to be true. But I say it anyways, just in case. So, oh, eyes. Now this is interesting because we have kind of a contradiction. Now Sagittarius eyes tend to be, okay, all fire signs have an almond, well, they're known to have almond shapes to their eyes, okay? Now, Sagittarius tends to be a little bit more downturned, while Aries tends to be a little bit more upturned, okay? So there's that. So almond, kind of an almond shape to their eyes, as an example. And usually this person could actually be quite a good dancer as well. They might be quite a fluid mover, because Sagittarius helps give someone like that kind of good dance moves, as an example. The thighs could be quite muscular. Like I said about that earlier with the legs, the thighs on this person could be quite muscular or thick. And also Sagittarius can give a big bottom. This could be because they work out or something like that too. There might be something about working out here that kind of adds to this appearance, especially if they're muscular and stuff like that. But yeah. Playful person, I would say. Playful and confident in their appearance, very smiling, very happy. Usually with Sagittarius and Jupiter, you're getting more jovial type of personality, open, laughing, maybe sarcastic at times. Maybe sometimes it will hurt a little bit when they're sarcastic, but they're generally like quite friendly and such. Yep. Obviously, this King of Wands has fairer hair in the picture, but I won't rely on that too much for a whole general reading. That's kind of silly. But yeah, I would say that this person has kind of a regal appearance, a confident appearance. So yeah, that's what we're getting. I would say that, you know, your next partner or your future spouse is going to have a very driven appearance in their personality, like they're a driven personality that it shows up in their appearance and how they act and behave. Like I said, the neck might be tilted, the head might be tilted forward, and therefore the neck kind of tilts forward. And then of course they might get, when they're kind of standing, as an example, they might kind of puff their chest out and kind of throw their head back a little bit, as an example, rather than slouching a whole lot. And I would say that this person probably, like I said, they might exercise a bit or be kind of active, and again, that might affect the thighs, the legs, and the hip area, the bottom area. And like I said, reddish hair, reddish tint to the hair could be a thing. What else did I say? A prominent nose, as an example, almond eyes, and taller than average, I would say, most likely. So yeah, I'm going to wrap it up here. Hopefully that was interesting and specific enough for you. I'm excited to hear what people have to say. Oh, the other thing I wanted to say, they could have an injury to their leg. Sorry, they might have an injury to their leg or a scar on their leg. That might be a factor for you guys to look for, on their hip or leg or butt, in that area of their body, okay? Because Mars can represent in astrology where we get an injury, right? So I have like Mars in Taurus, and my neck is always screwed up, and I often hurt my neck. Like once I went to a trampoline park, and it was like a professional one, like with like a dude who he's qualified for the Olympics. It was my coworker's idea. She thought it was a good work activity, and this guy tried to make me do flips too quickly, and I got nervous, and then I fell right on my head and screwed my neck up. And I often will mess my neck up. Half the time I can't even move my damn neck. So yeah, Mars can be where we get the injury, and also the degree that Mars is in can tell us how also more about that. So like I have mine at my Mars is at 26 degrees Taurus, which is a Pisces degree, right? Or is that 24 degrees? Hold on, Pisces degree. Yeah, that would be a Pisces degree. 24, sorry, not 26, 24. Sorry about that. And I've been injured while I was sleeping, Pisces, and that can be, if you have a Pisces degree Mars, then you could actually get injured in the water, and I've almost drowned a few times. So I mean, there's some stuff you can look at with Mars. So yeah, I mean, for some of you, this person could have been injured in a foreign country at some point, or something like that too. Even because ninth house can be foreign places. But yeah, that's what I've got for you. I hope it was interesting, and I'm excited to hear what you guys have to say about this. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you on the next reading. Bye-bye. Hello, my friends. If you chose group number 2 here, this is your reading. Let's get into who is your future spouse and what's their appearance. I guess not who are they, but like what's their appearance, essentially. That's what we're going to be focusing on, appearance. So the way that they look. We have Virgo in the 10th house, so a lot of earth energy. The 10th house I'll read is Capricorn, because that's usually the sign associated with the 10th house. So I kind of made a deal with my guides only to give me signs or houses or planets in order to kind of read these, because this deck has other things in it. Okay, so we have the 10 of Cups and the Seer. Well, first of all, I want to say to you guys that you're going to be very happy with this person's appearance. You're going to like the way that they look. They're going to feel good to you. They're going to feel right to you. So with some of you, the Seer being here could indicate that this person is somebody that actually appeared maybe in a dream, or you had a feeling that they were going to come into your life. There's something kind of intuitive here. There's also a mystery. So what's interesting is that this person's expression may not relay what their inner emotions are, okay? Now, Capricorn and Virgos are known to kind of have a more serious look in general, okay? So they're not the most smiliest signs, or, you know, like a Sag as an example, or a Leo or a Libra, where they're going to kind of look very friendly and approachable. This person could have a worried look to them. And in fact, you may find this person kind of crinkling their eyebrows and kind of having that appearance of being a little bit worried. Okay, so let's keep going. So we have generally, now Capricorn can and Virgo can give someone with a specific kind of nose. So the nose might have like a bump in it, or they might have like a specific kind of a different nose, like a bonier kind of nose in general. And what's interesting is that this person might have a more slouched appearance, okay? So in group number 1, we've got somebody that was kind of more like maybe holding themselves up high, or only when they're walking do they kind of like put their head forward. In this group, we're more getting somebody who has a bit of a slouchy appearance, okay? So Capricorn, 10th house, it's a ruler of the bones and the structure and of our body. So that can lend to like maybe being a little bit hunched over, even too with Virgo there as well. So generally Capricorns though are quite photogenic. So there's that. Some of you, if you're Capricorn, maybe you won't agree with me, but it's true. You guys tend to be more photogenic. Sometimes there can be, with Capricorn placements, some sort of the in between the nose and the top lip, you're gonna find a specific kind of like look. Like it might look a little different than average. There might be something specific there. Like sometimes it can give a pinched look there. Not always though. Generally, you have a very, the person in the way that they dress is going to be very not casual, very put together. Okay, probably this is not the person that, in fact, you know what I feel like? This person's appearance may not even relate to their inner being. So they might appear one way on the surface, but when you kind of get everything off of them, or they get into their casual attire, they're not the same as you might think. So this is a person that could wear a lot of the same ritualistic outfits, like suits as an example, or a uniform, or someone who doesn't really deviate a whole lot. Maybe jeans and t-shirt, and it's just like that's what they always wear, or they wear slacks in a button up, you know what I mean, to work as an example. So there's a sense of like conformity in the way that they dress, or not really deviating too far, but they're fashionable about it. Okay, especially Capricorns tend to be quite fashionable. They want to stand out in some way, but they usually don't want to do it in a crazy way, or you know, something that they think is out of the norm, as an example. Sometimes this person could have that appearance that they're hard to approach. Like I said, I don't think you'll be able to read this person exactly. I feel like that their outer expressions may not really reflect who they are. They're actually quite a nice person, but they may kind of have that resting bitch face type of vibe there. So yeah. Usually Capricorn and can give a thinner upper lip as well. So I wouldn't expect this person to have extremely full lips, okay? Particularly the upper lip shouldn't be, I wouldn't think, too full, okay? And, oh, so Capricorn's an interesting one, because Capricorn risings or people with Saturn in the first tend to, or even strong Cap placements in general. My sister had a Cap stellium, and she had this. They look younger than they are. They age very well. They might look, when they're younger, they might appear to kind of have an older look, but then it's like as they get older, they really kind of keep their youth. I have seen this so many times, actually, where like my mother-in-law is a Cap, and she has like her hands and her feet and her legs skin is just so youthful. You know what I mean? Like, you know that she's older, obviously, but she just has really good skin, really good appearance. My sister also, like I said, she was like always looking a lot younger than she was, and I've just seen it in many I mean, I've read a lot of people's charts, and it's just really common. Unless maybe there's some other factor going on, they're gonna generally keep their youthful look for a long time, because Saturn's about preservation and lasting. So that's why. So sometimes they can get a little bit of wrinkles in their 20s, and especially with this Virgo energy, they might have worry wrinkles, okay? So they might have that wrinkle in between their eyebrows, that one, or if they're expressive in their forehead. Virgos can raise, I think it's Virgos that can raise their eyebrows quite a bit, and so there could be like more wrinkles in those areas, okay? But yeah, I mean, there might be more prone to wrinkles in those areas, and so you might find that they're, you know, they get that kind of worry frown, like the worry wrinkle, concern wrinkle. So, and then of course they could get an early, Capricorn can give someone gray hair earlier or hair loss earlier. So there's that, okay? So they might, Virgo can lead to hair loss or thinner hair, and Capricorn can give gray hair. So you might find that their hair in particular has some sort of specifics there. Where they, like I said, either deal with like some kind of hair loss or thinner hair or gray hair. Even if it's just like a little few gray hairs, of course. And some people, they hide those, so you wouldn't even know. Usually Saturn gives a pretty strong bone structure and a solid build. Virgo, though, can bring someone who's a little bit on the thinner side. Also, Virgo doesn't really lend well to a curvy person. So usually Virgos aren't going to be very curvy. I know it's a big joke in the astrology community that Virgos have a flat ass. It's very common for that. It's true. So usually they don't have the fuller body, but that might not be, because Capricorns can have a fuller body or some curves, and but Virgo doesn't, so it can kind of go 50-50. Let's not, I don't think we should focus on that one, just because we have contradictory information. Oh, gosh. But yeah, generally Virgo kind of gives this straightforward appearance. Even if they're bigger or smaller, it doesn't really matter in terms of weight. They won't really get curvy, for the most part, if they're strong Virgo, okay? And let's see. Yeah, long nose, large nose for Virgo. A lot of air signs have longer noses because they're kind of getting in information. Okay, so pointed nose and hawk nose could be really apparent for this person. Like I said, this person's probably going to have a specific kind of nose. Again, we have that energy with Virgo of like the thinner lips. So like I said, this person's not going to have full lips. Usually, like I said, like this person's going to dress clean. They're going to dress elegantly, like conservatively, and like I said, their wardrobe probably won't differentiate too much. Virgo can give the appearance of someone having Virgo, any air sign essentially can give someone a larger forehead. Also, the eyes could be spaced farther apart or nearer. You know what I mean? I don't mean that to sound like an alien thing. A lot of people have that, and it fits in their face just fine. You know what I mean? But yeah. Oh, Virgos also tend to be taller, by the way. And with that Capricorn energy, and it's the 10th house energy, it makes me think that their height could be significant as well. I would say somebody who has like a higher cheekbones and a bonier face. Not such a full face. Like, you know, like full. And could, yeah, like I said, give someone a bigger forehead, or their head is larger, which I think is a nice thing. I have a really small head, so I think it's really attractive when people have like a larger head or larger face. Oh, and Virgo can give someone with a thinner fingers, like a slim fingers as well. Yeah, I think I talked about possible hair loss or something like that, or thinning hair. Oh, and Virgo, since Virgo rules, you know, is ruled by Mercury, we kind of get that mercurial influence, and Mercury rules the hands, so they might talk a lot with their hands, okay? That's definitely something there too. So they get to use their hands when they're talking. Let's see. They might kind of have a bounce in their walk as well. And let's see, what else? There could be a visual or a health issue sometimes there, or they might be very health conscious as well. Okay, so it could be that they have like a specific kind of health problems that shows in their appearance, or they're health conscious, and you can tell that by looking at them, that they take care of themselves, that they're very healthy and focused on their health. Very neat appearance, like I said. Virgo and Capricorn tend to give someone who is, you know, practical, and they're trying to take care of themselves. So yeah, I hope that I'm going to stop here, I think. Hopefully I gave some good and interesting things to look forward to, or like what to look for in that person. Like I said, to just kind of repeat something, this person's a very happy person. You'll be very happy with how they look with the Ten of Cups. You're going to feel very fulfilled by this, and certainly you're going to like them. And obviously, if you're going to get married to them, or you're going to be in a relationship with them, obviously you're going to like the way they look. But this is telling me that you're really going to like it. Like, sometimes we fall in love with someone based on their personality and not their appearance. I think you're going to be happy with this person's appearance right off the bat. And with that seer energy, like the High Priestess, again, this person, I feel like that they're quite a happy person, even if they don't look like that on the surface. They might have, like I said, that kind of serious look to them, but actually once you get to know them, they're much different. They seem a lot different once you get to know them as well. Okay, so taller than average, and I think I mentioned so many different things, so I'll just kind of leave it here. I won't summarize everything, but I hope this was interesting for you, and yeah, I'm excited for you guys to watch this video, and yeah, take care, guys, and I'll see you on the next reading. Bye-bye. Hey friends, if you chose group number 3 here, this is your reading. So let's find out the appearance of your future partner, or your spouse. Like I said, it could be, you could apply this to maybe an ex-partner in general, or like I said, maybe if you're looking for your spouse's appearance, you can really just kind of go either way with whatever you want. You could even choose one for your future spouse and one for maybe your next partner. So this is an interesting group because you guys have such strong Aries coming out. Okay, we have fire element, we have Aries, okay, and we also have the Fool and the Emperor. So to me, the Fool, I read the Fool much like an Aries energy myself. That's just kind of how I do it. I know other tarot readers kind of have different opinions. I've seen some tarot readers that also agree with me that they associate Aries with the Fool, and some people associate Uranus or Aquarius. It just depends on the reader. But for me, my personal association is with Aries. So I thought that was crazy it came out, along with the Emperor, which is traditionally associated with Aries. So we have such strong Aries here, okay? This means that your future person is going to probably have some strong Aries looks. And there are a lot of things that can be associated with the look of an Aries. So as I said in the intro, astrology is very intricate, okay? It goes so much beyond these memes that they put out with sun signs and stuff like that. We have moon signs, and we have aspects to that moon, and we have decons, and we have so many things in our chart that really help us be who we are. And I am not a fan of just stereotyping. So I will be using some stereotypes, especially like people with such a strong, obviously each planet and each sign represents different body parts, okay? So there's that, okay? So people are not just looking like their rising sign as an example. It's also their midheaven and their inner planets that are going to have a factor, and also even house placements, okay? I've noticed, like, recently, just researching more, that a lot of people with Saturn in the 4th, which is a Cancer house, even if it's not in Cancer, can have like a smaller breast size as an example. It actually seems to check out a lot of the time, unless maybe the moon, which also rules the breast, is also is maybe in really good standing, or really showing a more fullness, okay? So there are so many factors to looking at the looks, okay? So I just want you to know that as I'm doing this, because some of you might have an Aries placement and not relate to this, and I don't want you guys to focus on that, because again, the chart, we're just kind of looking for the general appearance, and we're using astrology cards to do this, okay, based off of the typical appearance associated with the signs. But when you would actually read a chart, you would look at more than just that, okay? Okay, so anyways, getting started, I just wanted to say that because we're going to have really strong Aries coming out here. So with so much strong Aries energy, that's a Mars ruled sign. So we definitely have redness showing up with Mars, right? Running hot and dry. Fire signs are hot and dry element. So we have somebody who probably runs a higher temperature usually. This also lends to rosiness in their cheeks, okay? It's very common for Aries or people with strong Aries placements, such as myself, to flush very easily. So this is a person whose emotions show on their face, because when they get mad, they get red. When they're happy, they get red. When they cry, they're red. It's like redness just appears on their face very easily. And it also can make someone very prone to skin problems, okay? Very strong Aries placements, they run hot, and they tend to get breakouts and eruptions. Mars rules acne, so it could have been that this person at some point had problems with the acne or their skin. Rashes in general. Well, my teacher actually mentioned scarlet fever as a strongly associated with Aries, and I thought that was so weird, because I actually had scarlet fever as a child, and I'm an Aries, Sun, Moon, Mercury, and Venus, and I couldn't believe he said that. I was like, wow, I never noticed that. Well, I don't actually know very many other Aries in my life, so yeah. We have somebody with probably quite a forceful demeanor, but friendly and kind. Aries generally, although they can get a temper, right? And they're usually quite caring, and they kind of have their heart in their sleeve, especially in the early years. In particular, they often, when they do say something, it's usually reckless, and they don't mean it that way. Generally, you won't find Aries to be. Scorpio, on the other hand, can be a little bit, and I'm not trying to put down any Scorpios. I have some Scorpio placements myself, and I have most of my family Scorpio. But they can be, and I love them. I have no qualms against Scorpios. But Aries don't tend to be too manipulative, whereas Scorpio could be a little bit more calculating, you know what I mean? Because they kind of keep quiet and they listen, whereas Aries is just going to spout off stuff without thinking. You know what I mean? So you have someone with kind of a reckless energy. With that reckless energy comes bumps and bruises and scars and other such things. So this person's going to have some markings on them. They're going to have probably a scar or two at least, and probably on their face, okay, or on their head, because Aries rules the head. So we're going to have somebody with probably scarrings and markings on their face, because obviously the face is a focal point of the head. So when you look at someone's appearance, you're going to notice that. Also, the nose tends to be quite prominent in Aries. Now, some people will say that they tend to have like a broken looking nose. That's not true for me, but I do have a unique nose. I have a wider nose, and it points upward. And I had never met anyone else with the same nose as me, ever. And I've traveled the world, and I've never seen anyone with quite the same nose as myself. And you do see Aries having generally unique noses. When like as an example, Sarah Michelle Gellar, Buffy from Buffy the Vampire Slayer, she actually has quite a unique nose, and she has strong Aries placements. She's an Aries Sun and Venus. Okay, so funny that she played such a fighter, right? Yeah, so she innately has that, those two placements. Now, again, too, there can be broken noses, especially like if that Aries is kind of in certain signs or in certain aspect. Like the Saturn is an example, which rules the bones. Like I was recently taking a course on appearance, and the teacher was quizzing people on Julia Roberts' chart and looking at her future spouse. And by looking at her seventh house, which is something I've always done too, you can look at the degree of your seventh house cusp and look at what sign that's in, what degree the sign is in. What I mean is like, okay, Aries is at one degree, right? 2 degrees Taurus, and it goes throughout the zodiac. Obviously 12 would be Pisces. Then when you get to 13 degrees, that's an Aries again, and it starts all over. So you can tell a lot by looking at people's degrees of their planets and associating with that sign. So with that being said, we have you can look at the degree, but you also want to look at the sign on the cusp and then where that ruler is. And so like in Julia Roberts' case, she has a Capricorn descendant. So her 7th house starts in Capricorn, which is ruled what by Saturn. And so her Saturn natally is in Aries. So that would describe her first partner. Well, Capricorn can give someone with an older spouse. Sometimes that can give an older spouse or a spouse that is like maybe a leader of some kind, or their own boss, or a manager, or a managerial type of person, like maybe a bossy person at times, someone who kind of tries to lead, right? And it also, in appearance, can give someone with the appearance of a broken nose. And who was her first husband? It was Lyle Lovett, who was 10 years her senior, and so he was 10 years older, and he did have that very Aries and Saturn face. So always look to your descendant to really see what your future spouse is going to look like, because that's going to be so important in understanding it, looking at your own natal chart and determining it yourself, or letting someone else do it. I don't currently offer that as a service right now just because I don't have time, but to do it. But yeah, this person's going to have such a strong Aries vibe. And going back into that, like I said, flushing is really popular for Aries. Skin problems, eruptions, sunburning or tanning. It's going to be a person that does either they're going to really suntan very easily, or they are going to burn very easily. Okay, it can kind of go either way. Obviously that's going to be dependent. I'm one of those Aries that really suntans easily. I rarely burn. I've only burned once in my life, and I was really out in the desert, and it was like way over 100, and yeah. It was a bad idea what I was doing. So Aries can also give some sort of like tough appearance. This person could have like tattoos. Okay, Mars rules tattoos, so yeah, there we go. We could have tattoos on the body. And again, like I said, a prominent nose, regardless, okay? I gave that kind of example with Lyle Lovett and Saturn in Aries with Julia Roberts' chart, but generally, as a whole, Aries do have a unique nose, okay? Because it's a focal point of the head when you look at someone, and so it tends to stand out or be unique in some way. Generally, Aries brings somebody who's about a normal, average, mid-height. So it doesn't really give someone who's super tall, like a Virgo usually gives a taller person as an example. Yeah, broad shoulders, usually a rounder or full face. Okay, unless, like, obviously there's something else involved, but we don't have that here, so we won't focus on it. Let's see. Usually a very energetic type of person. So like I said, Aries, they tend to walk really quickly. They tend to walk fast. And with that being said, they do tend to tilt their head forward when they walk. So they kind of walk like they're on a mission. Not necessarily so straight up. They'll kind of like bend their head forward. Okay. Because they're trying to like get somewhere. Oh, Aries also, when it comes to the eyes and that part of the face, thicker eyebrows are very common naturally with Aries. So obviously we pluck our eyebrows and stuff like that. Like as a child, I had a unibrow. Okay, I had a lot of eyebrow hair, and obviously with plucking and waxing and threading, I threaded my eyebrows for years myself, and at salons, and particularly sometimes I'd wax them. I don't like plucking my eyebrows. That hurts more, but I feel like it hurts more than threading, because threading goes fast. But I used to, thread my eyebrows for years and wax them, and honestly, they don't grow back like they used to. So obviously that can change. But I would say that this person's natural eyebrow, if you do find that they are somebody who's plucked them and maybe lost them over the years, as an example, their natural eyebrow was quite thick. And also, usually Aries gives a really good arch in the eyebrow. So they'll have a pretty good arch in their eyebrow, and they won't go straight across. Also, the eyes tend to be uplifted a little bit. So they're going to be more, like Sagittarius can give kind of more a downturned eye, whereas Aries gives a more upturned eye. You know what I mean? Like more like this, like an almond shape. And all fire signs tend to have an almond shape to their eye. Yeah. So I think I talked about everything. Normal height. Usually the body's quite strong as well. And like they move really fast, as I mentioned. They could be kind of loud and silly. That depends, of course. Not all Aries are loud. I'm not. Unless, I guess you get to know me or something like that. And then I get kind of crazy, but could have a potty mouth. And yeah, with the Mars ruled energy, sometimes it gives them a potty mouth. But yeah, that's what I'm getting. I'm trying to think about anything else I might have left out when we talk about Aries looks. I think I covered the height. Of course, there could be a reddish tint to the hair, like I said, but that doesn't have to be the case. They're not going to be redhead. Oh, facial markings. Facial markings. This person that you're going to be with, they're going to have some sort of facial marking, whether it's moles, like a mole, or a scar. And like I said, with acne being prevalent among Aries, it could be acne scar or something like that too. But no, they're going to have some sort of facial marking. So whether it's a scar or a mole or something like that, there'll be some kind of prominent mark on their face, or you'll know. That kind of thing. Or freckles even. Sometimes it can be like, it give you freckles as an example. So that is what I'm seeing for those of you that chose group number 3. I hope it was interesting and helpful to you. I'm excited to see what you guys think, and I'm wishing you all the very, very best. Take care of yourself, okay? Bye-bye. Hello, my friends. So if you chose group number 4, let's go ahead and get into your reading and see what is the appearance of your future partner or spouse. Let's go ahead. Like I said in the intro, you can choose for whatever you want to. I know some of you might be more interested in maybe like a future spouse, or maybe just a future partner. So we have Libra here, and we have Sagittarius, as well as the Six of Cups and the Knight of Wands. Definitely a youthful energy to this person. They're going to have a youthful appearance no matter their age. We also have like kind of an excitable person. This person might be on the taller side, actually. So this person could be a bit taller, because Sagittarius really lends to height. Okay, generally it gives a taller person, unless it's afflicted in some way. There are things that can definitely impact that. Okay, it's just like Moon in Cancer. It could give small or big breasts. It just emphasizes the breast size as an example. Like I think it's like Gwen Stefani has, I think her Moon in Cancer, but she actually has very small natural sized breasts, and that's, well, for a few reasons. She has Saturn in the 4th house, which is the moon house, and everyone I've seen with that placement, there are quite a few of them, like Emma Watson, me, my two of my cousin, my sister-in-law. A lot of people that have that placement do tend to have smaller chests, but yeah, her moon is in Cancer. She has that Saturn, and she also has some aspects to that moon, and it's also, she was born during a waning phase. So when the moon's in a waning phase, people tend to have a smaller chest. It doesn't always promise that. It depends on the rest of the chart. But I'm pretty good at identifying breast size. It's like it's my new thing. I've been studying it. So we have Jupiterian energy, Sagittarian energy. So that gives someone that is quite indulgent. Especially with age, they'll get more indulgent. very lively type of energy, very friendly person. Libra is very friendly. Sagittarius is very friendly and outgoing type of person. And let's see, what else? Very beautiful appearance, by the way. Libra usually lends to beauty because of Venus. You know, it's a Venus ruled placement, so or sign. So yeah, we're gonna have also bigger hips, especially for the, you know, the feminines. We're gonna have a bigger butt and bigger hips here, a curvier lower body, a nice figure. Okay, because both Sagittarius rules the hips, Libra also can bring a nice sized bottom, unlike Virgo, which doesn't usually. Okay, so we have thick hair possibly here too, because Sagittarius, all fire signs tend to have thicker hair. And we could have like a longer face as well. With Sagittarius can kind of give someone a longer face in appearance. And almond-shaped eyes are going to be really common. Now, as to whether they point upward or downward, that's hard to say. With Sagittarius, it tends to be more downward tilting with the eye. But yeah, both Libra and Sagittarius can give a more almond shape. Usually, this person probably has a kind of a glowing skin, youthful skin. I feel like this person probably doesn't have many wrinkles or anything kind of going on in their face, like a very youthful appearance, very young appearance. Full bottom lip is something I'm getting, and good bone structure. This person could have long legs, is what I'm getting. Prominent bottom, like I said. You'll like their bottom. It's probably going to be attractive to people. And again, very charming personality and just a charming appearance. Like they're very friendly, jovial, nice to be around. People like them. They're drawn to them. Usually, and this could be, okay, sometimes Sagittarius can kind of give a horsey face, and with Libra too, you can get really nice teeth. So it could be some kind of, maybe they have longer teeth, I wonder, here. That's not necessarily something I would associate, because neither things rule the teeth, but just usually there's a nicer smile. And, oh, this person's probably going to be quite a good dancer as well. And maybe they even danced in their youth or something, like did dancing or something like that for some of you. Because both Libra and Sagittarius are known to be good dancers. Lips, like I said, on the fuller side, especially the bottom lip in particular, is going to be fuller on this person. And a nice voice, a calming voice. They might have a higher voice as well, if they're a woman in particular. There could be a waviness to the hair, like a natural wave, or curliness or whatever as well. Usually this person's going to dress really nice, okay? So with Libra, these people tend to dress really nice, put themselves together very well. Even if they're not even into fashion, they just have a natural eye for like what goes together and what doesn't. My daughter's Libra, and I have Mercury, Moon, and Venus conjunct in my chart, and I don't have any Libra placements, but it has caused me to like worry about matching stuff, you know? I'm always trying to match things. And my daughter is the exact same thing, but she has a Libra sun and rising, and she's like a mini me, but she's even worse. It's like I created a monster or something like that. She's like, that doesn't match. So yeah, even if they're not the most fashionable person, they'll always match and kind of like know what looks good together. Even if it's like, you know, a masculine who doesn't really care about what they wear, they're going to look nice, or presentable at least, and they'll have a really good eye for color and art in general. Like they might, like I said, if they're going to like pick out a house color or something like that, they're going to pick out really complementary colors. Like they're going to have a good eye for it, essentially, for matching. It gives them a natural, really good aesthetic. And could be artistic, of course, too, with Libra. A lot of Libras I know are artists. Oh my gosh, yes. Yeah, so there's that. They could have dimples, by the way, in their cheeks. This could be another thing here. Libra can have dimples. The hip area, like I said, is going to be very prominent on this person. Oh, look, I have a hair on my desk. Damn it. I hate that. You know what's interesting, too, with the Six of Cups? They could resemble a sibling or someone in their family, I wonder. I just get that intuitively. Also, with that Six of Cups, they could feel quite familiar to you. Like, they might look like, okay, as an example, like, say you've moved to, like, a foreign country and you relocated. It could actually be someone, like, from your home background, as an example. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, for some of you, it could be somebody, like, from your place of origin, or something like that, especially if you do have that situation, right? Because, and there could be that foreign influence here with Sagittarius too, but it's like you feel like you know them. Maybe for some of you, this future person could actually even be someone you had a past life with, but they grew up in a foreign culture in this lifetime, or they live abroad, or they live somewhere else. Okay, and you happen to come, like, kind of run across them in the world, as an example. Or, like I said, if you're living abroad, it could be someone from your home country that you do find. But it feels like, to me, this person, they feel very familiar to you. And I do feel like for a lot of you, like with that Six of Cups, it could indicate like a past life or a soul knowing, like, or something like that. Again, they could just resemble like a family member or something like that too. And they could, like I said, kind of favor someone in their family, like maybe a sibling or something like that too. What else? Very beautiful, though. I think this person's going to be a very good looking person, and very approachable, very, like, nice smile, nice appearance, just a very nice way of being, essentially. And they're agreeable. Sagittarius is a mutable sign, so there's like this sort of agreeability to them where they kind of like try to, like, they're not too stubborn necessarily, mutable signs, unless if you say that you're a mutable sign, you're like, no, I'm stubborn as hell, you probably have other reasons for that, like, you know what I mean, in your chart, because that alone doesn't really give it. It's not really what it's about. So usually there'll be other things, like Aries, we're driven. It's a cardinal energy, but we tend to move forward, so we don't stick on something for too long. Like, if we have a fight, we're over it. You know what I mean? That's kind of that energy. But if you find, like, a Libra as an example saying, oh, I can't get over fights. Well, Libra is a cardinal sign. Usually they can. So that probably means that they have, like, Mercury in Scorpio or something. Or something in Scorpio, because since Libra is so close to Scorpio, Mercury can only, this has been a big argument with a friend. My friend got in an argument on the astrology community over that. Not an argument, but this girl was arguing with her because she didn't understand that, like, Mercury can only be one sign away from the sun. So it's either in the sign of the sun, in front of the sun, or behind the sun, where the sign is. It's, like, not possible for anything else. Like, that's not how it works. That's not how the sky works. And someone was arguing about this to her, and it was just strange because this person said they were an astrologer for 25 years and they didn't know this information. Oh gosh, I was just like, oh. But no, sometimes, like I said, if you have like a strong, like, Libra, you could have something in Scorpio as an example, or Virgo, but Virgo's not very stubborn either. It's going to be more like the fixed signs. So yeah, like, I have a fixed, my whole axis is fixed. I'm a Leo rising, so I have a Scorpio IC. I have an Aquarius descendant. I have a Taurus midheaven, and even though I have so much cardinal energy, and I don't tend to stick on topics very long. I don't really hold on to things. I get over things pretty quickly, but I do have some energy in those fixed houses because I have a Taurus Mars, and I have Pluto exactly to the degree on my IC in the 4th house. So yeah, I kind of have that a little bit, but I can get stuck on things, but usually it's stuff from the very deep past with the IC. And then I tend to, in the 10th house is a cardinal house anyway, so it's more about achievement. So I get stuck on achievements or goals, and I'll get really obsessed with them. You know what I mean? And bring them into every aspect of my life. So that's just that energy. But so it can work different ways for people. But anyways, I'm turning this into an astrology video rather than just a reading, so I'm sorry about that. If you're not interested in astrology, I can't help it. I like teaching people it and talking about it a lot. So Anyways, we definitely have a very nice person. I think this is a nice pile. I really like this group in particular. Air and fire go well together, so that's good too, because it means that there's a balance to this person and complementary energy, right? Not to say that it's bad to have non-complementary energy in your chart. In fact, that can actually create friction to make achievements happen. Sometimes if the energy is too complementary, it's not very beneficial, and it can be used for bad things too. Plenty of bad things happen when there's a trine or an easy aspect, because it's just basically two of the same element working together, and they can choose to do the bad things or the good things, you know what I mean? So it doesn't necessarily mean that, you know, you're just all good to go and you're going to be perfect. You can choose to use it in a bad way, you know what I mean? Just as much, and with the square, it just is more harder for you to obtain, but it doesn't make you a bad person. It just makes it that you have struggle. Anyways, I will shut up now. I'm really hoping that you guys like the reading and that it brings you some information. And again, sorry for all the astrology rambling. I'm sure I'll get tons of dislikes for that because people don't care. But that's okay. I am who I am, and that's alright. So I'm sending you guys lots of love. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you all in the next reading. Bye-bye.